Shots in the Dark contains graphic depictions of events that may not be suitable for all listeners. We encourage all of our listeners to be open-minded and engage in dialogue with us through any of our social media accounts or email. I need to be on the top.
Oh my God.
I missed you too. Hi, and welcome to Shots in the Dark. I'm Ty.
I'm Whitney, and we're both sober.
Yeah, oh, sobriety special.
For no reason, just for cause.
Yeah.
You don't need to drink to have a good time.
I mean, it helps, but you don't have to.
I mean, I feel like it's a situational thing too.
Yeah, and sometimes certain people drink, and then it ruins other people's good times because they're not a fun drunk.
This is true. I know many of those. I think maybe we've already talked about this person, but I had a friend who once, she would like jump on people, but she'd forget like halfway through the night that she may have injured her own damn self by doing something really stupid. So like I was standing by my work's bus and I was drunk, and clearly, because I was at my work and we were near the bus, so like clearly I was drunk. And I was holding on to my cup that was maybe fully whiskey. And and she turned real quick at me and she goes, ah, and jumped at me, which I had no preparation for. And instead of catching her, because it was such a surprise, also it was from like literally just running start, but really short distance. So she pretty much just bowled me over. She jumped on me. I whacked onto the fucking ground.
Oh no.
And she also hurt herself. And then like later in the evening, she's like, that fucking asshole dropped me. She couldn't remember who did it. She's like, when I figure out who it is, I'm gonna be fucking pissed. And I was like, dude, you jumped on me and you took us both down.
Yeah, you could have hurt me.
She did hurt me. You dropped you. You dropped you and me. You dropped both of us.
You drunk dum-dum.
But she was like real mad about it later every time that she would remember. And I was like, well, that's why you have to wear a helmet. We, not kidding, have given her a helmet on multiple occasions.
That's funny.
Mm-hmm.
You know who definitely ruined people's good times? Nasty Rachel. Which is what happens to me when I've had too much gin. And 100% of the time, somebody ends up crying. 80% of the time, it's me.
Yeah, I don't think it's been me yet, which is awesome.
I would never want to make either you or Chevy cry, thank God.
I agree with that, but I feel like sometimes it's not within your control. I had, have you ever, okay, so you've had to have played Flippy Cup. We used to play it when I was part of rugby. That's where I learned how to play Flippy Cup because I didn't go to college. Mm-hmm. Look how well I'm doing. School's for fools. I learned how to play Flippy Cup there, and then when I first joined the one company that I work for, I was at one of the parties at my boss's house, and they were playing Flippy Cup, and he was like, we need people for Flippy Cup. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that with you guys. I don't know you. Mm. This seems like a recipe for I want to go home at some point in time, and that won't let me do that. He looked at me and goes, wait, you play rugby? And I was like, yes. And so he puts me on a team with him and another person, the person that actually, like, from rugby was like, hey, come join this weird family of groups. And then we were playing it Survivor style. Whatever team loses, they have to lose a member, but you still drink the same cups. And all of them voted themselves out, and I was the only one left drinking 4 full cups for, like, all of them.
Goodness.
And then my friend was pouring the beers, but he was pouring them real shitty, so it was, like, all foam. Mm-hmm. And, you know, sometimes if you're drinking too much foam too quickly, which you would be if you're playing Flippy Cup with cups full of foam, you burp and like the foam comes out. Yeah. And they're like, oh, did you puke? And I was like, no. First of all, you wouldn't know because I would have disappeared already. So that's number one. I was like, second, I would be gone. You would not know where I am. Like, I would just be, like, living underneath the stairs like a troll. And asleep.
Well, I remember when
I won that game, by the way. Just in case you were wondering, I fucking crushed it.
I had zero doubt in my mind that you won that game. But when I was, like, in high school, this girl, Corey, that I used to hang out with, it was, like, her and then, like, her little friend, Doug, who everyone kept calling Dougie because he was just so adorable and tiny.
Did he teach you to dance?
He did not. He did not teach me how to Dougie. He was not Dougie fresh. But we just decided it would be fun, the three of us, in the middle of the day. I mean, it was like 2 p.m. Just to see if we could just chug a fuck ton of beers. And we did, but poor little Dougie didn't realize that there's a foam factor and just exploded foam everywhere.
Yep. That's the worst too. Like, it is destructive.
Speaking of all these things, should we do a non-alcoholic cheers?
Yeah, we can high five with my not mannequin hand.
Okay, high five. And a deep yoga breath.
As I don't need to breathe. I'm already literally, like, super centered all the time.
Oh, and the shirt's coming off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ty always gets naked just a little bit.
I always have a tank top on.
You do literally always have a tank top on.
I told that story the other day. He thought that was funny. But go ahead. You are doing the true crime. Talking about murder.
This one's a good one.
I'm really excited.
Oh, this is a good one. I'm excited about it. Remember? Okay, did I tell you maybe a couple weeks back at the shop, I literally was watching 18 hours of Snapped. This is what our life...
You didn't tell me that, but I've done that before.
Yeah, well, but I was at work because they were like, one of the girls was like, you know what show I really like? Plug in my laptop and we'll watch whatever it is. I don't care. And then 18 hours later, I was still just like eyes glazed over,
well, because
watching Snapped.
Because it's murder.
It was a very long day. So yeah, so this came from Snapped because I was researching that other one and it's a beast. So it's going to be a little while before we do that one. And also, a really big deal podcast just picked it up, and I'm very upset that I spent so much time working on it, and then that happened. But it is what it is. We'll eventually do it. So Kyle, whatever you had said to me that's happening, we're getting to it. I promise. It's just literally about 2,000 pages of court documents.
That's a lot of pages.
Very awful. So, I'm doing this one because it's a roller coaster.
I'm so excited. Yay.
Of love, because it's a love triangle.
Is it really?
Yeah, girl.
Oh my god. It's like Twilight.
Oh. What haven't you like into Twilight?
Well, in a lot of ways, Twilight metaphorically was murder, so.
Because she becomes a vampire?
No, I mean, just because it
killed your soul and your will to live.
I'm dead inside. A little bit more from it.
Like I said, I've only ever seen that when they were playing baseball, and I was just mad that they used a really great song.
Wait, because she's a vampire? Yes. I mean, you're not wrong.
I mean, it's not real. Well, I mean, it could be an arm and mind sort of situation. Like, she did so willingly, but she did die at the hands of another thing. But did she? Because now she's ever living. Conundrum.
Dakota Fanning was there.
Was she?
Yeah, she was in the Volturi, wasn't she? Right?
I've literally never seen anything of that movie.
I really hope I'm not wrong about that. But
yeah,
anyways,
I have no idea.
Love triangle. That's dope.
Girl. All right. So I'm going to tell you the story. It's a good one. So it's weird. I'll probably flop back and forth on this name of one of the people that's in here because they do go by two names, but mostly they go by one.
Okay.
So I'm going to tell you about Jana or Liz Gallier, David Krupa, and then Carrie Farber.
Okay.
Crazy town. Start to finish. David Krupa had been in a long-term relationship with a woman for an extended period of time. They had kids together. They were basically common law married, but, it ended, as sometimes things do.
Yeah.
Liz Gallier was also in a very long-term relationship, also had kids, and then that situation ended as well. Liz had, not a super fun life. Her father had died when she was still a baby, and pretty quickly after that, her mother was walking down the street, and a car jumped the curb and killed her.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, so she went into the foster system. Eventually, she was adopted by a family. No real crazy thing happening in her childhood. Same thing with everyone else. Nothing really crazy in anyone's childhood at all.
Everybody had, for the most part, relatively okay lives.
Yeah, exactly. So the thing about David Krupa is he was still a really good father to his kids. He and his ex, whatever you want to call her, had a pretty decent relationship, and instead of staying together for the kids and obviously being miserable and then eventually making the kids bad, they obviously broke it off. But he still moved with them to the same city, so he would still have regular contact with his kids, just not in the same location.
Yeah, which a lot of parents do after they've split.
Yeah, especially if you have a pretty decent relationship with the mother or the father or the whoever.
Yeah, but you want to be by your kids.
Yeah, which is awesome. He's a good dad through and through. Nothing bad there. Nothing bad to say about him as a father. He starts kind of looking online for dates and stuff like that and finds Liz Gallier. like I said, she also has kids. She also just got out of a long-term thing. So they had kind of discussed, this can't really be serious. I'm not really ready for anything serious, but like maybe we can hang around and have some fun, like whatever. And both were on board.
Take it slow.
Yeah, take it slow, figure out where you are, and then go from there.
Yeah.
He specifically had said that he wasn't looking to only be seeing her, so he was also seeing other women, and she was seeing other men.
Fine.
Yeah, it is what it is. They hang out for a
little while.
while.
Well, they were dating.
Yeah.
You're allowed to do that.
Yeah, as long as it's something that's openly discussed with your person.
Yeah. You have an exclusivity conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But good for them for communicating.
They start talking for a little while, and since they're both kind of looking around and still talking to other people, it's not very serious. It's said that she has a couple men that she's also seeing, and their relationship just kind of starts tapering off.
Yeah.
And he's just like, okay, well, that's cool. Like, it was fun hanging out with you.
Yeah.
And finds Carrie Farver. Carrie Farver is also someone who just came out of a long-term relationship. She had a son that she cared so much about. And she's crazy intelligent in every single way. She's a computer engineer and a number of other things. When there's interviews about her, they're like, she was an undiagnosed genius. Right? She pulls into the shop that he works at in her car, and they get to chatting. And when he's talking about it, he's like, well, she's a real pretty lady, real smart, definitely out of my league, but I went for it. And I was like, get it. Get it. And he's just kind of like a normal Joe Schmo dude. Like, he seems nice, but I wouldn't... If I were watching that interaction, I'd be like, he's about to get turned the fuck down.
Yeah, but sometimes if you have like a really lovely personality...
Yeah. Well, he seems to, too.
Yeah,
so.
and like that could be enough for somebody.
Yeah, which it was. And they start dating. It's about like 2 weeks or so. Carrie Farver was 37 years old, and she would go out and have fun whenever she did. She was very serious about taking care of her kid. She was very serious about partying when she could. But number one was, being a responsible adult and then going from there. She also was doing the same thing where she was like, look, don't want a serious relationship, bro. I got my own shit, but maybe we can hang out a little bit. So fine. David maintains a friendship with Liz. They're not really seeing each other as much anymore, but like they're being friendly.
Yeah. Like a text here and there, maybe a phone call.
Yeah, like every once in a while they hang out or whatever.
Yeah.
One day, Carrie's at David's apartment. She opens the door and Liz is standing there. And she's just come back to like grab some of her stuff that she may have left there. There's really nothing to that story aside from apparently Carrie calling Liz a bitch.
Oh.
Yeah.
That escalated.
Yeah, it is. You're just like, girl, what happened? Carrie leaves, right? Liz grabs all of her stuff and she leaves. And Carrie doesn't really say anything about it. I guess Liz told David that Carrie had said that she was a bitch. And he was like, well, that seems strange. She's a nice lady. What are you doing? So eventually Carrie leaves in the morning and he goes into his job and is working, and he's getting texts from Carrie that are like, hey, actually I was thinking about it. This is 2 weeks after they start seeing each other. I think we should move in together.
Oh, not even we should just be exclusive. We should move in together?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, it's so much so that while he was talking about it, he was like, I couldn't even pick up my phone because after I was like, look, we were both in it just like casual. Like, this is seeing each other, hanging out, like having a good time, and then figuring it out from there.
Yeah, and you're skipping a few chapters ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Oof, settle it down. But he's saying that he couldn't even pick up his phone after he was like, look, this was supposed to be casual. Like, that's definitely not on the table. And she was like, whoa, what the fuck? And she freaks out on him, and she's like, you're a piece of shit. Fuck you, lose my fucking number, da-da-da-da-da. And he was just like, cool, and then just put his phone down. But it kept coming. It was like verbal abuse after verbal abuse after verbal abuse. And when he stopped answering the text on his phone, he then started getting emails that were pretty much saying the same thing. Meanwhile, Liz is also getting phone calls and texts from Carrie that are basically calling her a whore and saying that David told me I was way better than you. You're a piece of shit. Fuck you, you're a whore. She's posting on her Facebook about this whore that stole her boyfriend. Yeah. So
oh my God.
Extreme. At some point in time, he's saying he legitimately was like, my phone was useless because so much was coming into it so regularly that I literally couldn't pick it up without it going off and vibrating and buzzing.
Did he like change his number at any point?
No. I mean, if it's his business too, like I won't change my phone number. I just block phone calls, like phone numbers now.
Yeah.
My phone number is my business phone.
Yeah.
So like I'm never changing my number because it's on my business cards that I don't use anymore.
When was this?
2012.
Oh, okay.
Because he's getting these messages, starts freaking out because that's weird. And he keeps thinking, at least I guess I know that she's crazy, before this relationship maybe got more serious.
Yeah.
I'm glad that it was only like a couple weeks that I put into this, because if she's doing this now, she's going to be nuts later.
Yeah, and I didn't like lock it down with a fucking psycho.
Yeah, exactly.